Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. So Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club. The Let's Talk to Cutler. Let's spend these 1,800 seconds together on this Tuesday. It is the 16th of September, and I hope your month is coming along just fine. Mine is. I hope wherever you are, you're doing well. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, and I hope that the day is proving to be positive for you. I hope that the day is proving to be fruitful and all of those wonderful things that you deserve, because you do deserve. You absolutely do deserve those. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. But hey, if you're wondering what's this guy up here to talk about, what's going on, what's he here to say, what does he have to say that nobody else has already said? Well, I'm not here to say anything that anybody else hasn't already said. I'm here to just offer some inspiration. I'm here to offer some motivation. I'm also here to challenge you to make sure that you show up your best self, even in the worst of situations, because the worst of situations will happen. Life just does what it does. That's all I can say. Life does what it does. I've received so many phone calls today. I had to listen to people and had to be there for them. And I was so glad that people trusted me to be there for them, as I have had people to be there for me. So I'm always so thankful when I can return the favor, when I can pay it forward. God, I wish we had time to talk about that this evening as well, but we don't have time to talk about that. We're going to talk about making sure that we understand and appreciate ourselves, because so many times as life is happening, we fall short of self-love. We fall short of self-care. We fall short of self-appreciation. So I want to talk about all of that this evening, and maybe I might have some time to delve into some other things. But for now, I want to talk to you about you. I want to talk to you about appreciating you. I want to talk to you about loving you. I want to talk to you about understanding you. I want to talk to you about embracing you. I want to talk about you, but I want to talk to you about pushing you when you need to be pushed. I want to talk to you about lifting you when you need to be lifted. I want to talk to you about pulling you when you need to be pulled. I want to talk to you about encouraging you when you need to be encouraged. And I'm talking about your ability to do all of that, because it means that you have to get to a point where you understand how to appreciate yourself. Because if you don't appreciate yourself, Cutler, slow down, because this is really passionate for me. Because if you don't appreciate yourself, how in the world can you expect anybody else to appreciate you? The basis of several of my phone calls today was making sure that in my conversation, I reminded people that you are worth better than this. You are worth better than this situation, and not that everybody's situation is dire or terrible or anything like that. Everybody wasn't going through, just these nefarious situations, but some of them were just going through things. Life was happening, and I reminded them that there is better after this. There's better beyond this, and you have to make sure that you want what's better. You may have to make sure that you lay hold to what's better. You have to make sure that you grab what's better, but understand that you are worth having better. I hope I'm helping somebody already. Listen, Cutler, slow down, stop talking for just a moment, and encourage the people to come on into the chat room. Encourage the people, Cutler, to invite other people to come on. Let's talk to Cutler. And then I do want to shout out the LTTC VIPs in just a moment. But before that, I do want to say thank you for allowing me to come to whatever space you've allowed me to come into. And then I want to invite those of you who catch me for the very first time. I don't always talk this fast, but sometimes I get excited I talk this fast. But I want to invite those of you who catch me for the very first time to go ahead and subscribe. And after you subscribe, there's a notification bell somewhere. I don't know where it is on your device. It may be up there, down there, over there, or over there. But wherever it is, make sure you click on that device, because it lets you know whenever I've gone live or added new content. Now I'm going to shout out the LTTC VIPs. You see, I have to slow down, because when I get excited, I start talking so fast. But I'm going to slow down for just a moment and shout out the LTTC VIPs. Those are the first 3 people that I see coming over into the chat room. And I see several of you who are on, but you're not over to the chat room. Come on over to the chat room. I don't know if the connectivity is low or weak, because the weather is overcast where I am. So I don't know if it's affecting anything. It looks like I have a weak signal, but I'm still just going to keep on going. But for now, let me just acknowledge the LTTC VIPs. On my end, I see Annie Cutler, who says, let's ride. Always excited about these conversations, because it's a journey. It's a journey that takes us to a space that's called better. Paula D says, hello, everyone. Well, hello to you, my friend. I hope all is well. Let's see. And then Sylvia Clemens, good long time friend of mine, classmate. Hey, how are you, schoolmate? And so many of you others. I see, just a few of you in the chat. But again, I can see by the numbers that there are others are here. And I'm thankful. You know what? I'm thankful because when people want to hear what you have to say or want to be in your space, don't ever take that for granted. It means that people see something about you that they want to cling to, that they embrace, that they enjoy, that they take comfort in. And when other people see that, I want to encourage you to also see it in yourself. Sometimes it takes other people seeing things in us before we can see them in ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that I want you to make sure you get to is the space and the place where you see it in yourself. I want to talk about self-appreciation this evening, you all, because so many times we walk around appreciating everything and everybody else, and we don't take the time to appreciate ourselves. We're getting ready to we're going through this change of seasons, and we're getting ready for the holidays, and people will be making merry and singing songs and partying and going to social gatherings and doing all those sorts of things. And sometimes it is the time when we start examining ourselves and we don't like who we are, who we show up as, and who we become. And we don't like all of those things because we start comparing ourselves with other people. That's another entire conversation all by itself, and I might have to talk about that. But we get into the self-loathing and self-hatred and low self-esteem. But I want to speak against those things and push you to a place where you're not in self-loathing and self-hatred and self-deprecation, but you're in a place where you are self-appreciating. It means that you appreciate the parts of your life, the parts of your personality. You appreciate your values, you appreciate your gifts, you appreciate your talents, you appreciate all of those things. You appreciate you as a whole person. And it means that you take the time to acknowledge the good that's already existing within you, because I've come to remind somebody there is good in you, and there's something in you that you need to appreciate, because when you appreciate yourself, you don't let people walk over you. Oh my God. You don't let people talk to you any kind of way. When you appreciate yourself, you make sure that you set standards and you draw perimeters and you set boundaries, and you don't let people cross those boundaries. You don't let people navigate those borders and come into your space and bring anything into your space. No. You appreciate yourself and you say, if there's something negative coming my way, I don't deserve that. I'm worth more than that. And so it is about understanding who you are. It's about understanding your value. It is about loving you, appreciating all that you are. Sometimes the question is, Cutler, well, how in the world do I appreciate myself? One of the things you have to understand is your importance. You have to understand your importance. And I mean, yes, that's about loving yourself, but understand your importance. And when you understand your importance, you treat yourself with gratitude. I am important. I am important to creation. I am important to the space where I am. I'm important to everything that I'm a part of. I am important to my family. I'm important to my job. I'm important to, many of you know, for years professionally, I taught on the university level for almost 20 years. I was important to academia. I was important to students and their lives. And as a family member, I'm important to those who are part of my family. Understand that you are important. You're important because had you not been important, the Creator would have not taken the time to call you out of eternity and place you here on this thing that's called Earth. You are important because you have the ability and the wherewithal to evoke change. Not that you can change the whole world, but you can change somebody's life. If that life is just one other person, you are important. And when you understand and realize that you are important, you will appreciate yourself. Understand that you are important. Understand that your life has value. Isn't it an incredible thing that you are living right now and that you are experiencing life right now and being given this chance, this thing that we call life is a privilege. It is an honor. Yes, we go through hardship sometimes. Yes, we will struggle sometimes. Yes, we will suffer sometimes. But I think it is an absolutely amazing, miraculous blessing that I get to experience this thing that's called life. We get to experience this thing that's called life. And so because we get to experience this thing that's called life and we get to experience it from our perspective, nobody experiences life from your perspective but you. And you are the first person then who should appreciate yourself because you've been here the whole time and you get to walk this thing out. So understand, as you understand your importance, understand that your life has value. You are part of an amazing universe, world. You're part of it. And because you start understanding yourself and because you understand that you have value, I'm talking about how to appreciate yourself, you all. Because you understand your importance, because you understand that your life has value, then you start changing how you talk to yourself about yourself. You learn to talk positively about you. You learn to talk to yourself and about yourself with compassion, the same kind of compassion that you would use to talk about people that you love and you trust and that you appreciate and you honor. And one of the things that I do many times when I talk to myself through what I call positive affirmations. It's a powerful way of shaping my day. When I get up in the morning, after I do my meditation, after I pray, I then do what I call self affirmation. You're going to make it through the day. You are equipped with everything that you need. And then I start telling myself, you know what? I'm grateful for the way that I've shown up in my life. I'm grateful that I can stand on my word. I'm grateful that I honor my word. I'm grateful that I can rely on myself. I'm grateful that people trust me. I'm grateful to be me. I'm grateful that I have a kind heart. I'm grateful that I have compassion. And so start speaking these positive self affirmations over you. And tell yourself why you are grateful for yourself. I'm grateful that I'm true to my word. I was saying to one of my friends that I had committed something. This was just today or yesterday, but I was saying I committed myself to doing something. And along the journey of doing that something, I got a little tired and I experienced a little fatigue. But I remember the words. I remember the promise that I made. And so I'm grateful that I strive to keep my promise. So after you understand your importance, after you understand that you have value, you start talking positively to yourself every single day. That's why we used to have the whole the conversation that we would have from time to time. It's about guarding our words, making sure that I understand what I say to myself about myself. Because when I start saying things to myself and about myself, I make sure that I don't allow anybody else to say anything else that's not congruent with what I've said about myself. And so then you go through all of that. You go through all of that and you say, you know what? I am exactly who I was designed to be. I'm here because I was supposed to be here. It's about building a healthy relationship with yourself. It doesn't mean that that you're being egotistical. It doesn't mean that you're being narcissistic. It doesn't mean that you're being arrogant. It doesn't mean that you're being self-aggrandizing. It means that there's full acceptance of yourself as a wonderful human being. And because there's full acceptance of yourself as a wonderful human being, not only will you speak self-affirmation, but if you notice, some of my self-affirmations are really about practicing gratitude. And so I'm practicing gratitude, that I'm grateful for the way I do this. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for my experiences. I'm grateful for such and such and such. But then you would just learn to practice gratitude in general. Just start practicing gratitude in general. From time to time, just write down what you're grateful for. And as you express your gratitude for the little things and the big things in life outside of you, you'll learn to appreciate the things that you have been blessed with. And if you need help with just practicing gratitude, period, learn to ask yourself, okay, so what do I like most about me? I'm just trying to help you all. Ask yourself, what do I like most about me? And you sit in that space and you deal with it. And you express gratitude to yourself. You have to ask yourself from time to time, what am I most excited to be able to do? What are the strengths that I bring? And you start practicing gratitude. This is how you appreciate yourself. Ask yourself at some point, as I'm going through 24 hours, what is my favorite part of the day? So it is about understanding you. It is about practicing gratitude for the steps along your life, for the steps along your journey. No, everything does not go well all the time, but we can get into the space where you're practicing gratitude and you say, you know what? I'm grateful for me. I'm grateful for all of these things, but now I have to live in the space of gratitude, because when you live in that space of gratitude, that's how you can start appreciating yourself all the more. And here's what you end up doing: you end up forming a positive and healthy and wholesome relationship, not with anybody else, but with you. I fear that some of us don't have positive, healthy, and wholesome relationships with ourselves. We can form all kinds of wonderful relationships with everybody else, but when it comes to ourselves, what kind of relationship do we have? What kind of relationship do we have? And so I would challenge us on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, and you can put it in the chat if you want. It's fine if you don't want to. It's fine. Don't feel compelled to do this. But on a scale of 1 to 10, and we're measuring the healthiness of our relationship. 1 being not good, 10 being excellent. How good of a relationship do you have with yourself? How good of a relationship do you have with yourself? And you have to ask yourself, all right, how do I treat myself? How do I talk to myself? How do I allow other people to treat me? So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 not being good, 10 being excellent, how strong is your relationship with yourself? It's important, you all, and I know it may seem clinical, it may seem less not so intuitive to have this conversation, but from time to time you have to stop and say, let me see how am I treating myself? Because if you look around and you say to yourself, let me see how people treating me. Maybe they're treating me a certain way because that's how I'm treating myself. Maybe I'm not doing what? Appreciating myself. So that's why I want to talk to us again, because as the holidays are coming up, no, stop comparing yourself with everybody else, but just learn to appreciate the beauty of who you are. Learn to appreciate the strength of who you are. Learn to appreciate all the positivity that you bring to the table, and don't bring that to the table in comparison to anybody else but you. If you want to compare yourself to somebody, compare yourself with you, because when you compare yourself with you, that's a fair race. Let me compare myself with me yesterday and see how am I doing today. Am I a better person today than I was yesterday? I hope so. Am I a better person today than I was 5 years ago? Oh, I certainly hope so. Am I a better person today than I was 10 years ago? Oh, most definitely. I pray so. Because somewhere along the journey, I've learned to appreciate myself. And I've stopped listening to the negativity. I've stopped letting that stuff get in my ear. And I've stopped letting people treat me any old kind of way. As some of my Southern family members and friends would say, any old kind of way. I stopped letting people treat me and talk to me any old kind of way. I put up borders, and I don't allow people to navigate and traverse those. So how are you doing practicing self appreciation? How kind are you to yourself? That's what I want to know. And even if you don't put it in the chats, I want you to think about it, you all, because it is so very important. It is so very important. That's what self-appreciation is all about. And I don't know that I'll be here the whole 1800 seconds, but I just wanted to share that piece with us, because somewhere in life we get stuck not appreciating ourselves. All right? We get stuck not appreciating ourselves, but I want to challenge you to appreciate yourself. Now, I want to just deviate just for a moment and give you all a heads up about something. I had the privilege to serve as an editor for an author. So I'm not really here to talk about myself as an editor, but I'm really here to celebrate a very good friend of mine who recently released a 3-book series. And these books are on Amazon, but it is a 3-book series written by J.M. Sellers, and you can find these on Amazon. Now, let me just push this for just a moment. If you have little people in your life, children, little people, if you're a part of a nursery, if you're part of a school, if you're part of a family and you have just young people, these books are perfect to use and to give as gifts, so that you can sometimes have what we call difficult conversations with young people. It's a 3-book series, and the series is called You Can Tell Me. Again, this series, all of these books are on Amazon. I'll show them in just a moment. I flip through them. I won't flip through the books, but I just want to put this up. This is a series of books written by J.M. Sellers. The first book is called, it's about being bullied. These books make the perfect conversation starters. This book here is called The Bully in the You Can Tell Me series. Oh, well, let me point here in the You Can Tell Me series. This one is called The Bully. A wonderful cast of characters. This one is about making sure that you can have a conversation with your children about strangers. This one's called Safe Place No Longer Safe. I don't know. I hope that it's showing up not in reverse on the screen, but I want to share this again. J.M. Sellers, the series You Can Tell Me. This is about Safe Place No Longer Safe. So if you're having a conversation with little people about strangers and how to deal with strangers and stranger danger, as some people call it, that's a great book. But it is the whole series. The third book in the series is Big Dreams, and how to have a conversation with children about what they want to do in life, what they want to be, how they want to show up, what role models they have. So again, it is an absolutely amazing series. It is my hope to very soon have the author on live with us, so we can just chit chat with him one day and get into his head and mindset to see what was the genesis behind this book, what's the impetus behind writing this book. But in the meantime, why don't you run on over to Amazon, get the 3-book series, and I am going to try within the next 2 weeks to have the author here on our platform. Again, a great series. As you are telling people, come on, let's talk to Cutler. Look up these books, share them. I think they will make, the holidays are coming up. I think they will make great holidays. I know I've ordered and bought several sets of the book. I encourage you to do the same because you will be surprised and fascinated to discover who this author is, this J.M. Sellers is. It is my hope and goal again to have him here within the next 2 weeks. But again, this whole series has been about making sure, this whole conversation has been about making sure that we appreciate ourselves. And of course, I want to take a moment to appreciate that author. I think these are great books. So let's move on for the rest of this week. And until next, we chit chat with each other about making sure we learn how to appreciate ourselves. So y'all, I won't take the whole 1800 seconds. I would say, let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our heads up, our hopes up. Let's make sure that we stay safe, stay sane, and don't let anybody drive you crazy, and don't let anybody cause you not to appreciate yourself. Value yourself, because you are worth every single effort that you take to make yourself better. All right. So until the next time we talk, do me a favor. Know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Good night, everybody.